hayi ndingoti dai vanga vaita memorandum of understanding vawirirana pake zvavo isitozviwanawo something mazviri soro wangu yako
Results have been announced. Inauguration has happened. Vice presidents sworn in. Ministers sworn in. Councillors sworn in. Mayors elected. Deputy mayors elected. 5 years is upon us. The people of Zimbabwe, to many of us, the election is a done deal. And Zimbabwe is forging ahead in the next 5 years. For the CCC, this election was stolen. And they are doing everything in their power, or lack of it thereof, to reverse these elections. But processes have been moved on and they're rolling on. And here on this, the Free Talk, in proud partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation, we take this debate on whether the elections were free and fair to the streets. We talk to the people of Zimbabwe to understand and have an appreciation of what they think of the results and the processes moving along the way. Now join me after this break on this, the Free Talk, in proud partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation for Freedom, and me, your host as usual, Dara Blessed. Now, welcome back to this, the Free Talk, in proud partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation for Freedom. My name, Dara B. This is the Free Talk. Now, many would want to talk about this election and find out if this election was free and fair. Are people on the street connecting with the results? Now, we went out of the streets and we spoke to the people. We asked them a crucial question. What is your attitude towards the results that were announced by ZEC in the just ended election?
Yeah, I have no enough words to say, but actually it was, in a way, it was full of disappointments. Henceforth, causing a lot of hindrances. For example, the mobility of people was not that stable, and the time which was said to be the starting time of the elections didn't match, was not tallying with what transpired on that day. So I would say it was not a credible elections from my own understanding, and I think there was an element of unfairness in what took place.
The results didn't go the way we were thinking they should go. Generally, the public was disappointed. I know the majority of the people, especially here in towns, they were so very disappointed. We expected change. We expected the results to go the other way, but they did go another way. So generally, we are very disappointed. Currently, the mood is low.
Munhu wese anofanira kugutsikana nekuti after elections tinongoramba tiri maZimbabweans uyezve nyika inofanira kuenda kumberi. Hapazoshaya vanhu vanogunun'una, handiti kugunun'una kunowanika, asi isusu hedu tinongoti haya tinongozvitambira mabudiro azvakaita.
Panhau yema-elections akaburiswa neZEC zvanga zvisina kujeka kuvanhu vakawanda, kunyanya macitizen vanogara mumadhorobha muchirungu. Zvanga zvisiri clear mapepa. Instead yekuti vanhu vatange kuvhota kuma7 dzamangwanani, vanhu vakakwanisa kunge vachizovhota, vamwe kuma12 masikati, vamwe kuma2 PM, vamwewo pakati peusiku. Saka zvanga zvisina kururama.
Inini ma-elections handitombomaziye kuti chii chakaitika kana kuti chii. Ndinongoziva kuti president waMnangagwa wakawina, ndozvandoziva chete. Hapana chimwe chandoziva. Because chinhu chinonzi voters roll kana chinonzi ZEC handitomboziva kuti chinhu chakafamba sei, handina ruzivo.
Anga siri free and fair because of ZEC yagara itaure chokwadi nguva dzose 43 years chingotongwa ZEC chingoita zvainoita. Saka ZEC ndio inokwanisa kungoti nhengi ndiye awina.
Isu hatina zvizhinji zvatonyanya kupokana nazvo. Isu chatongoda chete isusu toda ngoti mabasa edu aendere mberi uye tisanyanya kunetsana pane zvinenge zvichiitika. Also kusaidi kwedu kunoku tachidawo kuti tisanyanya kushungurudzwa, pokushandira tiwanewo pokushandira pakanaka. Ndozvimwe zvizhinji zvatanga tichichema.
Maresults edu aya zvinhu zvakabudawo vanhu vasina kutarisirawo. Tinongotiwo tinodawo zvifambe zvakanakawo pa5 years dzinotevera idzi nerunyararo
nevandudzowo itsva kuti tikwanisewo kuwanawo mabasa pfurikidzowo munyika yedu yeZimbabwe.
Tinongoti zvakabuda musarudzo ndizvozvo.
Now, after these elections, observer missions spelled out what they had observed. And for the very first time, SADC, which is known for congratulating and endorsing nearly all elections that happened in SADC, changed. They called the elections a sham. So did the AU, so did the EU, so did the Commonwealth. And recently the Commonwealth actually stepped up to recommend that Zimbabwe should not be allowed to join the Commonwealth because of these alleged sham elections. Now, the people on the street, we spoke to them and asked them if they think that the SADC decision or the SADC pronouncement made any difference in their lives. Now, the specific question was, SADC said the elections were a sham. In your view, do you think SADC and other observer missions who agreed with SADC were right?
As long as comrades akaramba ari patina.
I think SADC was right because generally, as for me, I waited for about 6 hours to cast my vote on the election day. We were in, I can't disclose my location, but we waited for, the ballots started trickling in at around 6 and we started voting at around 7 PM in the evening. And we expected to start our vote at 7 AM in the morning. So generally that was a shame on the part of the election process and everything.
Sekutaura kweSADC ikambani hombe. Matauriro anenge vatoitawo pane zvavanenge vaonawo. Ndobvumirana neSADC.
Isusu sezvo tiri vanhu vanongozvitirawo mabasa emaoko,
unoziva kuti mazimbabweans ananunguka upenyu hwatinorarama ndewekuzvishandira. Saka every Zimbabwean akakwanisa kuzvishandira ega, handiti ndinoona nyika ichienda kumberi. Tikada kutarisira hurumende kuti inge ichida kuti batsira stereka, zvinhu zvakatoma already. Nyika yedu haina mabasa, handiti hongu vana vanenge vakaenda kuchikoro but mabasa asi kuita se haasi kuwanika. Chikonzero ndechekuti vanhu varikuda kumirira kuva employed instead yekuti vatsvage mabasa vanozviitira nemaoko avo zvavakaendera kuchikoro zvacho. Ndokutoti nyika yedu iende kumberi. Tikada kutarisira zvakawanda kune hurumende, zvakatoma.
Ipapo panotinetsei, handikwanisi kupa pindura ipapo. Panonetsa.
To a lesser extent, I would say yes. Yeah, to a lesser extent, I would say yes in terms of punctuality and credibility. But at the same time, I would also want to applaud what happened on the election day. Yeah, there was peace. Yeah, I would say there was peace. That's the only thing that that was the only notable thing that I've observed. But on the other side, yeah, the issue of ballot papers taking long, people voting up to later hours. Yeah, I think it was not fair, because just imagine the elderly couldn't afford to exercise their right due to the time that the ballot paper were on place. Yeah, so I would say, in a way, to a lesser extent, I agree with the SADC.
Zvinhu zvakangoitikawo mukusatarisirawo, asi zvinhu zvekuti tinongoti toshanda nazvo ndozviripo.
Hapana zvatingaita, vakuru vanoti hanzi yadeuka. Saka hapana zvatingaita, zvakabuda.
You know, it's almost impossible, hardly impossible, to have an election result once proclaimed to be changed. We even saw this in the 2008 runoff elections, where then President Robert Mugabe, now the late, may soul rest in peace, was declared the winner in an election that was roundly condemned. But Mugabe served 5 years as president. All that happened was an inclusive government, which brought in Morgan Tsvangirai as the prime minister. Now, given that background, we looked at Zimbabweans and asked them, even though the elections are being contested, even though there's contestation and the elections have been called a sham, what is it that they look forward to in these 5 years that President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is obviously prepared to hold on to and finish his second and final term as president in Zimbabwe? So the question was, given the election results, do you have hope for a better Zimbabwe?
Currently, as it stands, we don't have hope. One, the current ruling party, I think they are so brutal. One, two, I don't see any vigorous action from the opposition, the main opposition. We were hoping they would do some court applications, some demonstrations, something to show that they are really willing to stand with the public. But as for now, they are quiet. Two, the ruling party has went on to do inaugurations and everything without the SADC affirmating the election. So I don't see any hope for Zimbabwe. Right now, everyone is low, everyone is getting back to his business, and things are not going well.
Kana pakaita kakuirana zvinogona kufamba zvakanaka.
My brother, in short, I would say there's no hope, since all we wanted was change, but if there's no change, not change per the presidents per se, no, change in certain areas, in certain ministries. Yeah, so if nothing changed, so we can't say we have hope. the system is still the same. So it's either we are entitled to exercise more patience until we get there.
Unoona kuti munyika mune zvinhu zvakawanda zvinoitika uyezve hurumende itsva ukada kuexpecta ndozvandinotaura kuti ukada kuexpecta zvinhu zvakawanda kubva kuhurumende nyika haiende kumberi. Isusu tisi tinotoita kuti nyika iende kumberi handiti nekushanda kwatinenge tichiita. It's not only about education handiti vanhu vari kurima sha vamwe vanhu vandopfuura mutaundi muno vachitengesa matombo. Why? Because arikuda kuti life yake inge ichichinja handiti. Saka tikada kuexpecta anything from the government tikutodzosera nyika kumashure. Isusu ngatitsvage zvinhu zvinoita kuti each and every family inge ichikwanisa kuita se kuguta, ichikwanisa kuti vana vaende kuchikoro handiti. But ini ndichiexpecta hangu kuti panyaya yeeducation apa, panyaya yevana vezvikoro handitika hurumende inofanira kuinterfere mwana wese oenda kuchikoro. Maschools anofanira kunge ari affordable handiti. Patakakura chikoro chichienda mahara. Zvinhu zvakadaro zvinofanira kuitika kune vana vedu nevazukuru vedu. Ndozvandoexpecta kune hurumende izvozvo. And hurumende haifanira kungotarisa nekumaruzevha chete kumaruwa chete. Inofanira kutarisawo vanhu vari mumacities despite political affiliation handiti. Saka ndo zvandinenge chingotarisa kune hurumende kuti inofanira kungoona munhu wese kuti muZimbabwe anofanira kunge achibatsirika.
Future yeZimbabwe yakungoda kuti tiri vana vevhu tese ngatingotaurirana tibatane tirarame tese upenyu huenderere mberi vana vedu vararamewo tiri vapenyu.
I believe with the government is capable of anything. It's capable of changing things. But above all, it requires a lot of engagement, a lot of unity and a lot of understanding coming together, dialogue in a way, sort of to say. So that's what I believe.
Government tongokumbira ngoti dai akatisirawo kana mishonga muzvipatara zvayo kuti kana takarwara tonowana kuti mapiritsi. Bozi takarwara tikaenda kana paparenyatwa towane kana piritsi. Unotosvika utonzi kadhi chero rinonzi bhadhara. Chiremba bhadhara. Mapiritsi acho unotonyorerwa futi mushonga kana ukaita kutochekwa chaiwo unotonozvitengera tsono neshinda yacho zvese. Saka dai vabatsirawo kuti vambotisirawo kana mishonga. Bichane zvongoti ngobenefitawo sevanhu veZimbabwe kuti takarwarawo right towanawo nezvikoro.
Kunaka zvinonaka
kunaka zvinonaka pfurikidzo nekunge isusu tagona kuzvinakisa pachedu. Kana takasagona kuzvinakisa pachedu tinongoramba tichingotamba madhaka.
Tiri kutarisira edu maroads edu kuti maybe achange achigadziriswawo vanhu vachangewo vasingasweri mumastreet vachidhakwa nemutoriro nemadrugs akawanda wanda semazuva ano vanhu vakudhakwa nezvinodhaka. Saka tinongotarisirawo kuti zvese izvi zvichange zvichimirawo tikwanise kuraramawo kamuraramiro kari nani kwete kutambudzika.
Nemariwo iwe stablewo panzvimbo, mari itendererewo kwete kuti vanhu mari inenge ichinzi nhasi yafuma yakadai nhasi yafuma yakadai. Ndozvimwewo zvinhu zvatinoshuvirawo mukati menyika ino.
Governments are elected not to serve those who support certain political parties, but are elected to serve the people of Zimbabwe. And everyone, when a new government is put in office, have expectations. Now, in Zimbabwe, expectations at times are low. Cabinet appointments also at times increase citizens' expectations or dampen them. And we speak to Zimbabweans. Under ZANU-PF rule for the past 43 years, what are your expectations from the new government that has just taken oath of office and is ready to deliver or not to deliver? Critically, Nelson Chamisa thinks that this election was stolen. He leads the CCC, which is now the biggest opposition in this country, after the MDC led by Douglas Monzora failed to even win one council seat and even make an impact in this election. In fact, apart from having a headquarters in the middle of town, Harvest House, now known as the MRT, the MDC as a political party for these next 5 years is a non-entity. Now we ask the people of Zimbabwe. Chamisa says that this was a stolen election. What would you advise him if you were to meet him, have a conversation with him on this aspect? What would you say?
Asa president wangu ndomukumbira zvanoida kutoti anditiro education, mishonga kuzvipatara, mabasa ngazviwaniko, tombonakirwawo. Nyika yedu haichatinakidza varidzi vayo. Tofanira kunakirwawo nenyika yedu akumana.
Hai, ndingoti dai vanga vaita memorandum of understanding vawirirana pachezvavo isitozviwanawo something mazviri
panonetsa. Chatingangoti isusu chingangodiwa muno kuwirirana chete, togoita chinhu one, kuti tisaramba tichingotendekana kuti uyu wazodai uyu azodai. Chinongodiwa chete kuwirirana, tichishanda pamwe chete. Ngavangowirirana, ngavataurirane vashandi vese. I think ndo zvinoita zvinoshanda.
I think ZANU-PF can never be removed through the legal processes and stuff. I think he has to step up, do demonstrations. You know, the thing with demonstration, they weaken the government. If you do demonstrations today, if you do stayaways, if you do those certain things like that, the government start to become weak. That's how Changirai weakened Mugabe until we got to be a prime minister. So if you keep quiet, the ruling party gains ground on you. So you have to do those demonstrations, do stayaways and everything. I think that will weaken the government in some way, rather than just keeping quiet. I think that would be my advice.
Kuri kuti ndikasangana nava Chamisa ndinongovati inguva, God's time is the best. Sevana veZimbabwe ngatingoramba tiri murunyararo, since kana mumaguta vanhu vakavhota murunyararo, kunyangwe zvazvo mapepa akanonoka kusvika kunzvimbo dzakasiyana, hapana vakamboita mhirizhonga, nekudaro zvakakosha.
Mr. Chamisa ndikasangana nawe ini nangu ndogona kuvaudza kuti be patient. Ndozvandogona kuvaudza, because handizivi hangu kuti ma-elections akabiwa here, because handisitomboripo zvangu, because ndakangovhotoka. Saka handizivi kuti vamwe vakavhotawo sei, because hatizivi.
Kungoramba ndingotsanangura kwandiri kuita kuti unoona kuti munyika nyange after my elections tinoramba tingori maZimbabweans, tofanira kunge titori united kuitira kuti nyika yedu iende kumberi. Handiti saka the only way yaanga anotongoenda kumatare. Constitutional court irikoko, high court iriko. Saka nekuti chinhu chakakosha kuti nyika yedu iende kumberi kubatana kwedu kumaZimbabweans. Handiti because peace chinhu chakakosha munyika, ndo zvatinenge tichitarisira. Tikada kudaidza vanhu vekunze, mukatarisa masanctions atakapuwa haasi kumboafecta president kana kuti Chamisa, ari kuafecta isusu macitizens emuZimbabwe. Ndopandataura kuti nzou padzinorwa chinonyanya kuomerwa huswa. Saka isusu ngatiti tofanira kubatana, handiti semaZimbabweans. Izvi zvekubirana izvi kunzanzi election yakabiwa haisi hapana zvatokwanisa kuita, because hatina masimba anotowanika kumatare. Saka izvozvo vanotoenda kudare vogadzirisana.
Apera azoyai tichikoita peri.
Zvatachida kungotaura tataura kuti toda kuti pane komiti yapinda mukati tione shandudzo itsva
chete
kurikidza nemagariro edu mukati menyika yeZimbabwe.
ndezvo zvishuwiro zvatachigodawo
tichigodawo kupawo mapoints atachidawo kutaurawo muzuva ranhasi.
Questions have been raised around the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, the manner in which it handled the limitation, handled the voters' roll, handled the actual polling on voting day, and its composition in its entirety. Now, the leader of the NCA, National Constitutional Assembly Party, which also performed very dismally for the second time running in an election, had promised that before these elections, ZEC would be totally disbanded and new commissioners would be allowed to run this election. That did not happen. Only commissioners whose term of office had expired, who could not be reappointed, went. But the head of ZEC, Justice Priscilla Makanyara Chigumba, remained head of ZEC. She played a very crucial role in this election. Now, with the doubts around ZEC, we ask the big question: do you think ZEC should be allowed to run the next elections?
SADC yataura kudaro, Chamisa ataura kudaro, ini ndataura futi kudaro, takabirirwa. Zeki atichada Zeki ngaibve ngavatsvake zvavo vamwe vanoverenga maelection kwete Zeki, because Zeki yaramba iringori 1 43 years ingori Zeki ndio inodecide kuti toita sei Zeki.
I don't think ZEC should be allowed to run any election, even if the bylaws any election. But I know that they will run the election. I think there must be reforms. Right now that ZANU-PF doesn't have 2/3 in the parliament. I think the Triple C should put forward some reforms, so that by the election of 2028, there will be reforms. Rather than for ZEC to run the election, I think there should be an independent board. Because right now, if you look at ZEC, it's nepotism. All those guys in ZEC, they're either a child of an MP, they are related to an MP somehow. So I think it should be all disbanded. Then we put another new independent board that will run the elections if there is the future for Zimbabwe.
Handifunge kudaro. Handigutsikani nazvo. Vanofanira kumbotsvagawo mamwe masekta angabetsera kuti vanhu vasanyanya kugunun'una. Kana vekunze zvakakosha. Maonero angu.
ZEC, I think ine loopholes akati one day atinofunga kuti vanhu isusu ikarana ma-elections iri kuside rarimwe side or whatsoever. But what I think ZEC ayo, I think ZEC it's okay, but it just needs some reshuffling and tikati referendum yavo ifanira kuti wedzeriwe zvimwe zvinhu kana kuti policy yavo aufanira kunge achichinjwa achiupgradewa zvimwe zvinhu because zvafanira kuti voters roll, I think it must be open enough for everyone to see kuti this is the voters roll, these are the people who are going to vote, something like that. I think it's going to bring up confidence to almost everyone.
Unaona kuti manje zvinhu zvakadaro manje mitemo inogazetwa kuparliament anditi saka iwo ma-MPs anotimirira iwayo pavanoenda kuparliament ikoko ndo vanogazeta mitemo anditi saka ivo ndo vanokwanisa kuti ZEC kana irambidzwe kurana anditi irambidzwe kurana kunge iriyo inenge ichiita sei nekuti satigadzire mitemo. Saka ma-MPs edu ndo anofanira kutimirira kuparliament, ndo saka tichivaisa kuti vange vachitimirira kuti vatibatsire anditi saka tikaramba tichingoti tabirwa taita sei hapana zvatiri kugadzira, asi ngatigadzire mitemo unoita kuti next time panoitwa ma-elections anditi zvinoita kuti zvinge zviri nyore kwatiri anditi zvinenge zvine transparency futi. Ndofunga ndo maonero andinoita hangu.
Sezvo ndiwo vanhu vacho ndo kambani yacho, so tikwanise kuti ikwanise kumira kana kuti inzi ichanzi hakuna, ndiyo inongokwanisa kubva 1980 ndo yaingovapo, saka it's going to be there always.
Sekubvunza kwenyu kwamabvunza hatina matauriro atingaita, asi kuvatungamiririwo ndiwo vanenge vane urongo hwavo vavanenge vanawo. Isu pachedu hatingakwanisi kupa final decision yekuti ichange iripo here kana kuti ichaibviswa.
I hope zvinogona kuramba zvichingoitika because hapana chatati tanzwa kuzeki chakashata.
Now, we also had an opportunity to speak to the newly elected members of parliament who were at the swearing-in ceremony, and we spoke to them to find out what it is that they're looking to offer the people of Zimbabwe, if they have anything to offer, that is. We spoke to them as they took oath of office, just before they took oath of office. What is it that they have? What do they promise the people of Zimbabwe? Is it just collecting the SUVs, sleeping in expensive hotels, collecting coupons from the clerk of parliament, and going home, then returning after 5 years to ask for another vote? Let's hear from the members of parliament.
My reaction towards the swearing-in ceremony today, it's a great day. New building, new ideas, old friends. It's a brand new day in Zimbabwe. We look forward to great things to happen in this session of the Senate.
I didn't even hear the rumors. I didn't even hear the rumors because I expected them to come, because there is no reason for them to boycott the swearing in, because if you recall, at each polling station you had a polling agent, and the polling agent did sign that everything went on well. So the people who are supposed to be sworn in are the people who won. So I'm not so sure if you win, you come back and say, no, I don't want to be sworn in, then there's a different story. Okay, thank you.
What excites me is the quality of the MPs that I've seen this morning. There are a lot of young, educated, and devoted citizens who have volunteered themselves, and thankfully they were elected into this parliament. So we expect robust debates, we expect people's issues to be addressed, we expect a lot of interrogation whenever government policies or business is brought into the house. So I'm excited, I'm hopeful, and very much expectant. Asi dambudziko ratanga tinaro rakanyanya ndere utungamiri. Dambudziko ranga rakanyanyisa kuti bata ndere leadership. Saka isusu as new leaders chakaita kuti vanhu vatisesekedze kuuya pamberi chitendero nechitarisiro chekuti vatungamiri vatsva vanogona kuzvigona. Isusuwo kubvuma kwatakaita basa tichizvipira, we are ready and we are prepared to deliver kuvanhu, especially pama social issues and the developmental issues avanawo.
Well, I'm feeling very proud personally, and of course, very proud for the nation. The elections are done and dusted, we're moving forward. This is my first time to be here, so honestly, I'm not the right person to speak about change in Parliament or what may necessarily need to be altered, because this is my first time, so I don't know exactly what was in there. So today was exactly my maiden day into Parliament, so I haven't really seen a lot, but except that, as an outsider previously, one thing that of course I disdained and was embarrassing to watch was, an unnecessary howling, haranguing, and all forms of sheepish behavior, particularly as displayed then by the opposition. I'm sure it was not a good sign, and I hope that our colleagues from the opposition will change that behavior. Now that they've also changed, I think they are capable of changing. That is why they talk so much about change. They said initially they were not going to come for the inauguration, that they were going to forgo Parliament and then demand a fresh election roundly. But today they are here. I'm sure they changed it overnight. I expect them to change overnight And as far as that behavior is concerned, that is the behavior of howling, haranguing. I don't think that those who voted for us would expect us to discharge our duties in an August house like this in that manner. So I just hope they are going to check.
That change the income generation for the people of Chulumanzu. That is my main vision and my main project that I'm looking forward to. And of course to work for the country at large, and of course to bring the Zimbabweans together and to have an understanding that we are one people, we are same people, and we need to work for the country. I thank you.
The people who elected me to stand again and represent them for Warren Park constituents, I would want to thank them and say on promise that their vote is going to be utilized well. I'm going to represent them well in Parliament. I am going also to work with them through their various representative groups such as resident committees. We are going to continue pushing for equal development in our constituents. We are going to protect our wetlands. We are going to protect public spaces such as public schools. Those are the things that we are going to do for Warren Park constituents. Thank you.
Contribute very meaningful. Sevanhu vakasarudzwa nevagari vemuZimbabwe. Tiri kutarisira zvinhu zvakati wandei zvatinenge tapiwa kubva nazvo kumusha kune vanhu vatinomirira. Tiri kunofunga ndizvo chete zvandingangotaura kuti isu tinouya nezvatakapiwa nezvatapiwa nevanhu vatinomirira.
Yeah, the problem that we have is we are not implementing the laws which are already there. We have got Section 17, Section 56, and also Section 8 of the Constitution, which are clear about gender parity and also gender equality. So what we need to do now is to make sure that we get an act, an enabling act, so that it can become enforceable. So that when we talk about gender parity, we are talking of on gender equality, we're also talking of more women in Parliament. And this can only be done if we have an enabling act, and also we have to make sure that we get a fund. You see, politics is an area which is quite capital intensive, and what always happens is you realize that people need money for them to get really into politics. So we need to have a fund. We need to make sure that we get a legislation which is pro-women, which is going to also make sure that women will get a budget so that they get into politics.
On behalf of vamwe vanhu vasara constituency vanouya vakatituma kuti tive kuno tive tinomira tichiita zvichemo zvavo tichigadzira mitemo yavanenge vachida kuti zvedu zvifambe zvakanaka kuitira kuti mbare inokwanise kuve inovandudzika ive inove neugari neutsanana neugara kwevanhu kwakanaka. So tikuti zvesusu iye zvino takutanga kuzotora nhiko dzekutanga basa titange kushanda muno mumbare constituency. Saka I'm happy kuti iye zvino tavapo toda kuti tichisevha vanhu vemumbare.
I'm really excited to serve the city. We know that there is a lot of responsibility which we should undertake. A lot of expectations are out there from the citizens of this great city, stakeholders, business people, everyone. We want to embark on a program of trying to clean the city, to also try to negotiate, to find common footing with our vendors so that our vendors are relocated. You see, the whole city is littered with the vendors, and if we engage them properly and we've got a consensus, the union of two minds, what we call consensus at IDEM, we sit down with them, we agree, we relocate them to strategic key places where they can make money. It's one of our programs which we want to undertake. Egodini, we want also to bring the contractor, the management, so that we get an overview of what has stalled its progress, and maybe from there we'll take it up. We'll take it from there. We've got the issue of parking TTI, which has been highly sensitive in the city. And we believe that if we bring TTI on board, the stakeholders of Bulawayo, the motorists on board, we find common footing, we find reasonable rates which can be appreciated by the citizens of Bulawayo, something which will also benefit the TTI, something which will also benefit the citizens, and we meet somewhere for the common good of the city.
I think, yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, and yeah, I think I'm quite new to all of this, so I will be finding out where we are at with certain policies, and a lot of I understand we have to kind of jump in and take right over from the previous councillor, so I think we've got an induction over the next few days, so we'll be asking a lot of questions, just finding out exactly where are we at, so that we can make informed decisions when we come in.
This was the Free Talk. This is the Free Talk. This will always be the Free Talk. We value the way your ideas, we value what you think. Because without you as a citizen, without you as a Zimbabwean, we cannot add on the discourse, add value in the national discourse of this country, politically, socially, and economically. We will not be able to build this country. So your voice counts. We speak of a diversity of views. We speak to hearing everyone and allowing the views of many, even those without a voice, to be heard on this program. In proud partnership, the Frederick Newman Foundation for Freedom. I am your host as usual, Dara B. Thank you very much for joining us and supporting this program that has grown to be one of the biggest socio-political talk shows in this country. Just in the month of July and August, we were watched by over 3 million viewers on our Facebook page, 1 million on our YouTube in just 1 month. And a lot of engagement happened on our social media platforms, our Twitter pages, and also on our Instagram account. We don't take this lightly. The fact that you watch us, the fact that you interact with us, means a lot to us. We thank you. That's the Free Talk. Please continue supporting us. Until next time, more love from your boy, Dara.
Mutengo wa kutenga sana. Mutengo